One, two, three, four.
And welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Breakfast with Brothers.
What's up, people? Glad to see everyone still vibing out there. Your favorite breakfast homies back at it again. This time with another topic that you probably weren't expecting because we get more random every time we come back. What are we talking about today, dude?
You know what we're talking about today, Zach? You know what we're talking about? You'd like to know what we're talking about, huh?
The people want to know. I already know.
We're talking about the ocean. We're talking about the ocean.
Yeah, we are. So I guess in its most basic essence, the only experience I've had is, going out on a couple boats. I can't say I've really done any fishing except maybe off of a pier once, twice. Nothing crazy beyond that. I'm thinking of my ocean experiences when someone says ocean to me. What do you think of when someone says ocean to you?
Terrifying. No, I mean, like, I like the ocean. I mean, I'm living on an island right now that is surrounded by ocean.
That's right.
Yep, living out on Nantucket. Just moved here, freshly washed ashore. So yeah, I'm surrounded by ocean. I'm not terrified of the ocean. I just don't like deep ocean.
I was gonna say if I were to get dropped off a boat in the middle of the ocean, that would be, that would be the terrifying part. I don't think that's something I'd be able to, one, survive, or two, I guess imagine. It's not something I want to be like a part of at all. If I'm on a cruise ship, I don't expect that to happen. I mean, I'm never out in the middle of the ocean otherwise. Anything that I'm doing, as far as the beach, that's shallow water. Going on a pier, that's completely out of the water anyway. You're just over the ocean. Fishing, I mean, boats, you can get out there pretty good, but from wherever boats can be that you're fishing and stuff, usually there's another, group of boats doing their own thing and stuff where people can see you if you fell out and something happened, so.
Yeah, listen, you'll never catch me on a large cruise ship. Never. The biggest boat you'll ever catch me on. Why?
For the cruise ship, yeah.
You ever heard of a thing called the Titanic, bro?
Oh my gosh. Come on. Yes, I have heard of the Titanic, thanks. But I don't really think that's a good enough reason to avoid going on a cruise. If you're going into the ocean, these cruise ships are now, what's the statistic? 5 to 6 times the size of what the Titanic was. I don't know if that's the actual number, but I know they're a lot bigger as far as size, capacity, what it can do, and operate fully loaded,
all right.
etc.
So imagine this, Zach. All right, I'm like the Titanic thing. That was kind of a joke. This is like truly my real answer for it.
Oh, okay, good.
So it's kind of my explanation now will probably hold no substance considering that I'm on an island now. But the concept of like being on such a large boat, confined to the boat in deep ocean. So the thought that there is a possibility that it could go down. Yeah. Now I know the chances has thus been reduced because of one of technology, two, the size of the ship, and so on and so forth. But I just know if the boat's going down at all, or if, for whatever reason, if I fall over, things do happen. The likelihood of that happening is very slim, but things do happen. I ain't making it out. I am going to sink. And most people will say, well, humans are buoyant. Like, you'll float. No, I'm going down, dude. Like, I can't swim.
Down.
Like, what is that? What is that thing? No, it do go, Robert. It do go down. It don't go down. It do go down. And then they all both jump out the boat because it's going down.
It do.
It do go down. So I mean, realistically speaking, if I was to go on a cruise ship, I'd probably just freak out for a little bit, and then I'd be perfectly fine. Because then I would forget that I'm on such a massive cruise ship floating through the ocean. But
Oh, absolutely.
like in cases like that, I know a lot of cruise ships stay relatively close to like the shore. And like they're further out, don't get me wrong, they're further out, but they stay relatively close to mainland in regards to how big the actual ocean is. It's not like they're crossing to like the next continent.
Oh, no, no.
But they're like I don't know how far out they would actually be, but they're a good distance out because they need deep water, but they're still relatively close in regards to mainland. So, I don't know. I don't like the idea of just being on a boat in the middle of the ocean, cruising, trying to act like nothing's happening because of large storms. Large storms, man, tanked like military grade boats, and they've gone
No,
down.
no, that's true. No, that's very true. Being out in a ship, like especially with what do they call the ships that pick up lobsters and shrimp and stuff like that? What are those, crawlers or something like that? Trawlers,
I
lobster
don't know the name
trawlers.
of those.
Huh?
I'm not entirely sure the name of those, but you
I'm just
probably
thinking
are
about the
right.
shows that they were on, like all the Discovery Channel shows back in the day.
Oh,
Watching
dude,
those
like
ships,
Deadliest
have to
Catch.
traverse these insane weather conditions. Of course, I know what you're talking about with like military grade. They're always traveling all over the place. Whether it's our defense, or some allies that are, I don't know what they'd be doing in the ocean, chilling nearby, but in general, um, thinking about that situation, being a part of that, just on the boat, just not even having to be like on uh, the deck working or anything. I could just be up in the cabin. I could be the captain, hanging out, sitting in a chair, just watching it happen. That's still terrifying in itself because you don't know if one big wave is going to come through and that's going to be it. Like, boat's not
Dude,
coming back up after that.
I feel like the captain has like the worst view because
Mm.
while yes, he's got the best view, it's also like, guys, he going over the, attention all crew members. Um, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of it's kind of like it reminds me like the wreck of the
Mm.
Edmund Fitzgerald in the Great Lakes, and that was in the Great Lakes, dude. One of possibly the worst wrecks, and that's literally what it says in like the song. But I think it's Gordon Lightfoot where he
Yeah.
says,
Yep.
the quote is, "Men, it's been good to know you," and then after
It's
that,
been good to know ya.
yeah, great song,
Such
great
a good
song. If you
song.
haven't listened
Great.
to it,
So sad.
it's like 10 to 12 minutes long. Very sad song, of course, but like very like hearty like song. It's great. Take a listen if you haven't.
Shout out
Um,
Gordon Lightfoot, R.I.P.
yeah, Gordon Lightfoot, Edmund Fitzgerald, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Anyway,
I always
back
confuse
to
it. Yeah.
terrifying experiences in a boat.
Oh yes, yes.
I understand. I
Getting
understand
back
where
to
you're
the
going
ocean.
with like having to avoid being on a big ship like that. Of course, I know your Titanic joke was a joke at that, but thinking about what that looks like, traversing storms or stuff like that. I don't know how many times those cruise ships are battling big waves like that because, like you were saying, they are operating so close to the shoreline. It's only realistically getting bad if they're traversing through hurricanes, which I'm sure they plan ahead for and pace out as far as like where they're going if they even can. So,
Yeah, I know there is like certain spots and certain cruises where they are in deeper waters and further away from mainland. So things like that are able to happen. Um, but I'm not sure how long they're sailing in those areas. Like, it depends. It depends where they're going. If, like, let's say they're going up to Alaska or something, right? It's just one example. They could be in, like, deeper waters for a while, or they're going down towards, like, Mexico, in, like, the center of the Gulf or something like that, or whatever, cutting through, however it might work. There are moments in time where the cruise ships are, like, going through deeper and further waters. So, like, chances will arise, and like you said, hurricanes happen too. That's
Yep.
it's a good possibility. So even if they are relatively close, it still can affect them heavily. But yeah, enough about cruise ships. Let's get into something else about the ocean, like like something cool, like the Bermuda Triangle or like the Mariana
Something
Trench.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the
Enough of
Mariana
my
Trench
fear.
is what, the deepest trench in recorded history as far as deepest part of the ocean?
I believe so. Yeah. It's interesting. The megalodon's hiding down there, dude.
There's a whole lot of somethings hiding down in the murky depths of the ocean that we haven't discovered yet, and I'm excited to see what's up. I can't wait to, watch what's his name? Oh man, the narrator from Planet Earth and like Every Planet, stuff like that. The really cool old guy who has that awesome voice, and it's escaping me, and I'm really sad I can't remember it.
We're gonna look it up right now
No,
because.
don't. We're gonna talk about it, and I'll remember it. I don't want. I don't want
Okay.
any
All
help.
right. All right. All right. All right.
Anyway, we're gonna see some next new cool, awesome, sick ocean creature on one of those shows. And we're gonna get introduced, all of the, oh, and then this was discovered in 2025, etc. So I do think that is hugely exciting, though, to not know like this much about the ocean. I know it sounds scarier than it does exciting, but to not know a lot about the ocean is just showing how much more room there is for adventure and discovery. Because as much as it is scary and, I don't know, like confusing, it's also, it gives you that goosebump arm feeling, when you step into a situation that's exciting or new or even unique, really. Because I've had those experiences. Like, for example, someone's first time eating a cherry or something like that. Or maybe a kid's first time going roller skating and it clicks for him or something like that. Or jumping off of a cliff jump spot into a big pond or something like that. Like, I know when I
Or
did
the
that for the
first
first time,
drag
it
off a
was
cigarette.
like, yes, that's exactly what everyone's thinking about. Absolute exhilaration.
Sorry,
in
I
this
didn't
case,
mean
yes.
to. I didn't mean to interject so rudely.
That was a perfect interjection. Because it's true. I mean, all those things warrant some type of different experience for everybody, especially for their first time. And as Morgan Freeman said in some rap song with 21 Savage, it was something like, you can only ever experience things once. And then it was like, once you do it once, you can never do it again. Or it will never be the same again. Or something like that. Because the first time you experience it, going back to it a second, third, fourth, etc. amount of times, you're just repeating that same thing that you've known. And of course, you can get excited for it. You look forward to things like eating the same food, like, on certain days of the week, or like waking up at a certain time and watching a show at a certain time at night. That all makes sense. But, Morgan's, I guess, got a little bit of insight or wisdom that we don't.
Dude, he holds a lot of wisdom. The old man that he is. Feel like
Very old.
I was just watching a South Park episode, not to break away too far, but it was the episode. The hell were they talking about? Oh, like for whatever reason, Cartman stole like a bunch of like ballots because, like for whatever it was the Obama Mitt Romney race.
Oh, yeah.
Cartman stole a bunch of like ballots and was trying to make it so that Obama would stay president, and like then Obama was gonna like give the rights of Star Wars to to like the Chinese or something like that.
What?
And so in every instance where like it just made absolutely no sense, Morgan Freeman would pop up and like explain it. And in the beginning, like Clyde was saying, he's like, yeah, I really like when like Morgan Freeman comes out and like starts explaining something to me. He's like, because it makes so much more sense. And so they
That's
did
awesome.
that for the rest of the episode. And like he said, yeah, every time I explain something, I get a freckle.
Yeah.
I gain a freckle.
And I'm Morgan Freeman.
And I'm Morgan Freeman. Yeah, no,
South Park. They
it's so
never miss,
stupid.
but it's hilarious. Do you think Morgan Freeman is scared of the ocean?
I'm sure there's probably some terror of deep ocean. I feel like most humans are afraid of like deeper ocean, unless you're like a navyman. Most of those guys got balls of steel, like to
Oh yeah,
want to like go out and like cruise the open seas. And I commend them because I could never do that.
that is a tough life.
Yeah. Um, so to each their own. I know some people want that like adventure of like being out in the ocean because they love the ocean.
Right.
But I think those people also know like the sea is a terrible place if mistreated or if it decides to swallow you up and spit you out.
Well, that's the thing. It just acts without vengeance. It acts without necessity. It just, I mean, of course, there's tides and things that, operate as far as the way the moon revolves around the earth and all of that excitement. But as far as like being out in the ocean, us traveling there and stuff like that, us, depending on how we treat it or whatever, I think the ocean was going to mess you up one way or the other. You could be the kindest man out in the ocean. You could be, throwing fish back if you're going out there to fish. You could be cleaning up, recycling. Who knows? I don't know whatever people do out in the deeper ocean, uh, but I'm thinking on those people's best days, they're getting blasted by storms. While on the flip side, you could be pirating or transporting weaponry or something like that, or maybe going whaling in some form or poaching and stuff like that. And those people are probably sailing through crystal blue skies. Everything is perfect. The water's calm. It's always when you don't need it to be circumstantial. The ocean just acts on its own. So I just think it's one of those things. The ocean is so, well, of course, vast, but also, like we were saying earlier, undiscovered. And it's got its own way about it. So as much as it is scary, it is really neat.
Oh yeah, dude, without a doubt. But we still have a topic to talk about. What do you think about the Bermuda Triangle?
Of course,
I
to have
was
to get back to the Bermuda. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is strange. I don't know if they're, I don't know what the phenomena, wants to exist as. I can get behind some of it, like some things are weird, but also there's got to be some simple explanation that people have already come to, but they always say but, and I think it is as simple as people are making it out to be. There is some exception with the way things operate on vehicles out there or something. Of course,
dude,
it could be supernatural, but I don't want to sit here and be like, "Ooh, the Bermuda Triangle."
from what I've seen on the History Channel, and of course, that can never be very truthful in some circumstances. Um, you think of things like Ancient Aliens or something like that.
Right.
This was definitely similar to that of Ancient Aliens. I caught like the last like 15 minutes of it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not even that much. Maybe like the last 10 minutes. And the guy was pretty much just wrapping up his whole conversation of the entire thing. Like it was like a full hour like show. But I caught it, and like he was saying, like he tested all these things out, and like nothing came back as like anything substantial. Everything was circumstantial. It just so happened that these things did happen. And stated that it very well could be something wrong with the area. It could just be a mindset or he said it very well could be some sort of curse if you really believe in that type of thing. He said it's more or less dependent on what you might view it as. He's like, for the most part, like scientifically speaking, there isn't anything inherently wrong with the area or something like that. Um, like, sure, there's a couple of weird readings, but nothing substantial enough to truly, I guess, change anything.
Point towards evidence saying that there is something wonky. I got you.
Yeah. So like obviously, you have like a bunch of shipwrecks, a bunch of like plane
Right.
crashes. Isn't that like where Amelia Earhart like went missing? Or am I thinking of a different area?
I don't remember. I think Amelia Earhart was just the lady who flew around the world and then made it back. She's like, I think died, not too long ago or whatever from old age. I don't think she was a part of any Bermuda Triangle mishaps.
I don't know. I always heard that she was like, like obviously it's a terrible joke, but the joke is that she was eaten by coconut crabs. Um,
Maybe she did get lost in the Bermuda Triangle. I can't remember.
let's see. She was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean and the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to the U.S.
Sick.
U.S. mainland. In 1937, she disappeared over the Pacific Ocean while attempting to become the first female pilot to circumnavigate the world.
Ah,
Her plane wreckage was never found, and she was officially declared lost at sea. Rest in peace, Amelia Earhart. Never found. I'm sorry to say that to everyone who didn't know. Most people know. I'm sorry. That was bad.
so is the Bermuda Triangle down near what is that, northwest of the Bahamas?
That's what I was thinking. Let's see. Let's get an exact location.
Northeast of the Bahamas?
The Bermuda Triangle is a triangular area in the North Atlantic Ocean that's roughly bounded by Bermuda to the northeast, Florida to the west, and Puerto Rico to the southeast.
I'm trying
The
to think where
exact
Bermuda is in regards to the Bahamas. Is Bermuda part of the Bahamas? No, it can't be. It's different. Bermuda, Bahamas. It's different. It's from the song.
It's literally starting from the corner of Miami, like that side, straight line to Puerto Rico,
Hmm.
and then from there you have two straight lines out forming the triangle. At least that's what I'm being shown here.
Okay.
That seems kind of big for the area. The exact shape and dimensions of the triangle are disputed, and its boundaries are not universally agreed upon. Some say the triangle's apexes are Bermuda, the southernmost tip of Florida, and San Juan, Puerto Rico, while others place the boundary closer to Chesapeake Bay than Miami. So it's kind of up in the air, exactly like the location
But
of
that
it.
general area is pretty well covered as far as the 3 points.
Right.
It's a lot of water.
It is a lot of water. It is a lot of water. So I think that's also why it might be tough to like really prove anything. I think truly it's just the sea is a very unpredictable place. I think things happen at sea that most people just can never expect.
Oh,
So
sure.
I think that's why. And like that area too is always it's I don't know. I guess it's you got warmer waters down there, even
No, it's
though
definitely. I think what you're going with. I kind of assumed what you were going to say was that it's a tropical area. Someplace
yeah,
where
yeah,
you're pretty much going to get a lot of storms. That's a very hot spot for hurricanes to be ripping through. I'm sure it's like foggy very often flying through there. And I know watching those silly TV shows, like you were saying, akin to that of like the History Channel buffs who think they know everything, but really just hype everything up. They talk about the people who had issues with electrostatic frequencies or something like that, and
yeah,
airplanes turning off and ships not being able to communicate with people back at their at the dock in the case of ships and stuff like that at HQ or whatever. and I'm assuming, some airport terminal nearby for those people, well, that were flying and had to go through that. That's a completely different scary, but we're not here to talk about flying. But as
We're here
far as
to talk about the ocean.
as far as getting lost in the ocean at sea, I guess anything could happen there. Of course we want to blame all weather, but who knows for all those things that exist in the sea? Mermaids, boom, killing people
Sirens.
off. Sirens. Giant squids pulling boats under. Forget about it.
Actually,
And then-
giant squids do exist.
And then I don't know what else would be on that list. Maybe people jumping overboard because of the sirens telling them to. Getting eaten by sharks. Very possible.
I was gonna say, I mean, think about like some of the sizes of like sharks that have lived towards like deeper water. Then you also have like sperm whales, blue whales. Not that they're going to
They're not taking
inherit.
out ships though.
No, but think about Moby Dick, dude. While it's just a fictional story,
Sure.
there is chances that something like that could happen. I mean, for all we know, we don't know much of the ocean at all.
No.
There are things that lurk in the deep that we have no concept of, and
Sure.
the ocean is a vast place, especially deep ocean, for anything that it can be massive. There's so
Oh, yeah.
much space for these things. That's why giant squid exist, dude, because they have so much room.
Right. I was
Or
going
I
to
should
say,
say-
I mean, what does the ocean take up on Earth? So something ridiculous like 72% of the surface of the Earth or something insane.
I feel like that number sounds about right. I'd have to agree with you. It's probably like 70% 70 something.
Hey Siri. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's an F load compared to what the Earth is covered as far as land mass. So
Yeah, I think the percentage of ocean that we've explored has increased since since the 2% that most people know. I think it's at like 4% now or something like that, or 5%.
oh my gosh.
Like it's so vast that even like that fact that it's like, oh, we only know about like we've only explored about 2% of the ocean. What?
71%. Tell me
You
how
guessed
close
72,
I was.
right?
I was off by 8%.
Damn, that was pretty good.
But that is
Um,
still nuts though. I mean, continue what you were saying. Still nuts to think.
Yeah, I mean, let me check myself now, but I'm pretty sure it has increased
Hmm.
the like percentage, but like we were initially at 2% for the longest time. How let's see.
I think
Percentage.
it's something ridiculous like 5%, something insanely
Yeah. Dude, I guessed right as well. I said about 4 to 5%. It's about 5%.
Wow.
So, like, it has increased. I was correct about that. But for the longest time,
It certainly has. Thankfully, we've
Um,
gone up 3%.
I was going to say, yeah, for the longest time, like, I remember the fact being like only 2% of the ocean was explored for
Yeah.
what they were capable of. And, like, now, of course, we have better technology from years ago. Everything's constantly improving, but we've only improved by 3%.
But to think if literally the Earth covered by roughly 3/4 water, and we have gone from discovering 2% of it to 5%, that is a chunk of the ocean that we were just like, yeah, we just covered that, no biggie. And I know 3% is tiny in any other perspective, but in the ocean's perspective, that they basically just jumped in the Atlantic Ocean and just covered like an entire portion from the US all the way over to Europe, just like a nice sliver. Yeah. And that was their big percentage. And which is insane to think, because on a globe, the Atlantic Ocean looks kind of small. Pacific Ocean is obviously huge, enormous. But the Atlantic Ocean in real time, like if you were traveling across it, so to say, insanely huge, nuts. And
Yeah, dude.
perspective on a globe throws everything off. So, but back to what we were saying, the exploration percentage.
Yeah, no,
What
it's
are we supposed to
just
do about that? I mean, there's only so far technology has gotten us, up to this point. So we need some type of big change.
well,
big
I mean,
discovery.
the real problem is like just having equipment that can go, deep levels like
what I'm saying.
consistently.
Yeah.
because truly, the percentage that we probably have like covered is just, essentially surface level of the ocean. That's what
Sure.
I'm thinking. While we might not have like obviously covered all of it, the majority of what we have seen has been on relatively surface level, like, from, I don't know, from, 0 feet down, I don't know, say 300 feet. I'm sure it's much larger number. Don't quote me, please. But I'm just
I
trying
know
to
in some
give like
spots they've gone, a couple dozen miles down. And
yeah,
then,
like I'm just
in other spots, it's only a handful of miles, maybe 2 or 3, which is still, pretty deep if we're talking about the open ocean. But I don't
right.
know how deep the Marianas Trench is, but they did get something down there as far as the submarine. And I think that something ridiculous, like 52 miles deep or something weird. Let me just check it. But
Right.
continue what you were saying, and we got to wrap up here soon.
Yeah, not a problem. I guess for the most part, where I was going with that, anyways, because I know 300 feet is not anything substantial in the ocean. But what I was getting at is that we know about a majority of like the animals that live within, that range, however big it is. Obviously not 300 feet, much larger, but we've only kind of explored certain points to a certain depth.
Absolutely.
So it's like, like you said with the Marianas Trench, it's like we've gone down in that to certain depths.
124 miles.
I think we've hit the bottom of that. I think you're right.
We threw a sub or something down there.
It's like a camera or something, whatever we had on it. Besides the point. Before we get off too much and finish up here. Yeah, we've only explored basically the surface level of the ocean. I would say we have a good grasp on that, but we still don't understand
Sure.
or know what could be out there that is coming up to the surface as well. It very well could, like the colossal squid, be just lurking beneath the depths. And then don't even get me started on the secondary ocean, dude. So you have the ocean, you get down far enough, you have like a fog layer that looks like another ocean within the ocean, or like a lake.
Interesting.
Yeah. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, awesome. For those that don't, kind of look up the kind of idea that I just described. It looks
Do they
pretty
call
cool.
it the
Try to
secondary ocean on the normal?
No, just quickly, let me see if I could find the name of it. Let's see. Do-do-do-do-do.
Quite.
Hmm. Okay. It's not like a fog.
Don't worry, Breakfast Clan. Ian's got the answer for us here.
I don't have the answer.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Ian let us down. He'll have an answer for us next episode, and we'll be sure to drop that immediately when opening. So stay tuned for that number next time, and we'll be able to give you some type of information. But thanks so much for pulling up and blessing us with your beautiful views. Send us your likes, your follows, and share it with your buddies, your friends, your family, and let people know that the Breakfast Brothers are happy to keep potting. So send us your ideas, send us your thoughts. We want to hear what you guys have to think. So
let us know.
Send us out.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that misinformation I gave you. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. As per usual, if you're listening on YouTube, check us out on Spotify. Give us a follow over there. If you listen on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. Give us a subscribe over there. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys on the flippy flop. So until next time, peace out.